We have numbers that confirm this. We have numbers that confirm how people are careful when it comes to VR. So 71% of consumers think that brands using VR are modern. 68% are interested in using the technology. So basic interest is here. Travel is the most interesting one, which is not surprising considering COVID now. So 74% of people would consider VR in traveling or using a VR-based traveling product interesting. However, when it comes to understanding the technology, and now we're talking about AR, which you could argue is just a stripped down version of VR because you're mixing in virtual with the real world, right? And 12%, only 12% of people say they are familiar with AR, and 80% say they are totally unfamiliar. And consider Snapchat filters, for instance, as AR, right? You put some augmented reality on top of your pictures. Can it be? It can be something that you put on top of your face or whatever. So people do not really understand it, and as you said, they are somewhat scared of it, right?
Yeah, so, I think in general, people or societies at large are a bit more cautious towards new technologies. I mean, the reason you have up until quite recently, the fact that people full-time jobs were sitting in elevators and pressing buttons is because people were afraid of these new technologies and do not understand it. So obviously there's an understanding, but AR seems to have also not have the kind of vigorous pickup that we would expect it. And I think that, yeah, for one, it's this kind of confusion with the technology. And on the other hand, I also think that this confusion has also been perceived by the creators. So be it the creators of specific VR-related video games or VR headsets, there is to enjoy a VR experience requires quite some initial investment, be it a headset and a computer that is able to do these calculations. And it seems like a big burden for most people.
Yeah, it's a very hardware-intensive product, and as we've seen with PlayStation 5, the VR feature of PlayStation PS VR hasn't been developed further. There's only backwards compatibility, and you can use the same PSVR Generation 1 device with PlayStation 5. But instead of focusing on VR, the developers focused on better graphics, better operating system, more storage, on a better console. And you could say that the controller has now some haptic feature, which you could consider as VR. But apart from that, something is clearly missing, right? As we're talking about gaming here, the options of VR are limitless. You could, we talked about input from the user. This also applies to the feedback, right? The user could wear some special gloves and they receive some vibration or pressure or some other type of motion feedback whenever he interacts with that environment. The way that virtual reality displays 3D with stereoscopy, there's so much to unpack there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're creating entire new worlds, and I think ever since the invention of the television, VR really represents the next step in especially in entertainment, you know, where you can have all kinds of haptic feedback, visual feedback, really be immersed in a world that responds to your changes, where you don't have to use a controller, where you can really look with your own eyes, look around, experience and feel the world. This definitely represents, on the one hand, a big leap in technologies, but on the other hand, again, being a change, it requires initial investment. There's a learning curve that people have to overcome. So there are some challenges, yeah.